And welcome to the Blue Line and a very happy new year to everyone. Mike Tressa and Andrew Kalista bring you the first show of 2014. It's been 3 weeks since we were on and sat down with the coaches, but it's been a busy holiday break for both teams, especially the men's team.
Yeah, the men were out at the Three Rivers Classic in Pittsburgh for the second time. Last year, a bit disappointing as they were shut out by Robert Morris. But this year, they had another crack at them in round one.
And that's where we start things off. The Friday after Christmas, Penn State against Robert Morris at the Consol Energy Center. We saw Coach Guy Gadowski before the game getting ready in the tunnel. The team coming out ready as well. They took the pro ice at Consol Energy Center. Goalies would be the story early. Matt Scoffman, the Keys Rock native, but Terry Schaefer stealing the show, stopping Kenny Brooks there, and then Brooks again, no luck. He had 3 shots as the Lions came out firing, but the defense also getting after it. 5-on-3 for Robert Morris, no problem. Jensen, Thompson, and Glenn able to kill this as Glenn gets it out, and then time winding down on the 5-on-3. What an effort by Matt Scoff. Acrobatic in goal, keeping the puck away until Connor Varley clears it. No score after one. Second period, though, 2 minutes in, Penn State not able to stop that power play. Tyson Wilson, one-timer, 1-0 Colonials. But 6 minutes later on the power play, David Glenn off the boards to Nate Jensen, buries the game-tying goal past Schaefer. Schaefer was incredible in this game, though. School record 59 saves on 62 Penn State shots. Didn't get much help, but in the second, Brendan Denham crosses to David Friedman. Dylan Richard can't block that goal. 2-1 after 2. In the third, big chance for the Lions on the power play. Great puck movement, and Tommy Olczyk finds it in front, powers it through on the second effort, and how fitting, Olczyk tying the game up in Pittsburgh. Scoff would hold the Colonials scoreless in the second with 26 saves, but with 1:40 to play, Lions finally get a bounce right to Eric Scheid, who puts in the game winner from Taylor Holstrom, 8th goal of the year. As you see another look, that's the difference. Penn State breaks a 6-game slide with a 3-2 win.
We did a lot of things. You saw a lot of things tonight that we did well at Wisconsin, and I think we got confidence from the game that we played. And so you don't always win when you play a very good hockey game, and we didn't against Wisconsin, but we gained confidence by the way we played, and I thought that carried over tonight.
Here are the stats. Penn State dominated in every facet of the game except the final score. Lions only won by 1 despite outshooting the Colonials by 34. The Lions also dominated the faceoffs and penalties. Finally, a great effort for an entire game from Guy Gadowski's squad. And for this show, we'll be breaking down the good and the bad from each game with the Lions playing different opponents. As always, Andrew, we start with Penn State and what they did well, and there's a lot to choose from in this game against Robert Morris.
Yeah, and the one big thing about the Robert Morris game that was good, they finally got a W. Penn State was able to break the 6-game losing streak that they had, and they did it by coming through at the end. Eric Scheid's goal clinched it, and Penn State battled, doing all they needed to get back in the win column and advance to play in the marquee tournament championship game against Boston College.
It was harder to pick something bad for the Lions, so I'm going to go with bad luck. That is in facing red-hot Colonials goalie Terry Schaefer. Yes, the Lions could only score 3 times while taking 62 shots, but Schaefer was making ridiculous plays on the way to a school record of 59 saves. Penn State could have and should have probably won that game by a decisive multi-goal margin, but like they say in hockey, a hot goaltender can be the difference maker.
After finally getting off the schneid with a W, Penn State was looking to capitalize on that momentum against a powerhouse program, Boston College, in the championship game. Would they be able to pull the upset? The championship game at Three Rivers Classic, Captain Tommy Olczyk and Eric Scheid getting ready to go early on. BC with the turnover in its own zone. Miley sends it in front to Casey Bailey, and he buries it in the back of the net. Lions are up 1-0, and they are pumped. BC on the attack then, looking to answer. Johnny Gaudreau, ring-a-ding-ding off the post. Scoff able to cover it up. Watch this again. Clank! Lions with some good luck there. Now looking to go up 2-0, but Bailey, he pulls his shot wide. Late in the first, it's a BC power play. Good puck movement. Ryan Fitzgerald buries it from the mouth of the crease. You're not going to miss from there. 30 seconds later, loose puck, Gaudreau. What a play to skate through the crease. And you know what? 33 seconds later, it's another BC goal. Scoff is not happy. Was the game going to slip away? Not if he could help it, as he stones Gaudreau on the breakaway. But you know what? The Eagles' attack was just too much as the stride straight gets his second of the period right there from the slot. And then it's Gaudreau again. Watch this. Wow. They call him Johnny Hockey for a reason up in the Boston area. 5-1 Eagles, and it's time for a change. Scoff out, musical in. But you know what? It doesn't get any better for the Lions. 6-1. Lions are going to keep fighting here as Goodwin takes a pass from Scheid to make it 8-2. But you know what? They're not happy, and that's how it would end. 8-2, Boston College Eagles are your 2013 Three Rivers champions as Captain Patrick Brown accepts the trophy.
I think you have to give a lot of credit to Boston College. I mean, I don't think we took our foot off the gas. I think we got a little bit tentative when they started to roll, but you have to give them a lot of credit. I mean, they're just a scary offensive team, and they make so many plays. I thought their second goal was really a turning point because I thought Zach Starr made a good play to back check. He got called for a penalty, but I thought he made the right play. And when they scored, that's fine. We're still in it. But the next quick goal after that was, I think, a turning point. And I think it put us back on our heels, and we didn't have the same. We didn't dictate play after that.
A little different than in Game 1, Penn State the same number of shots as BC, but the Eagles made theirs count, almost 1 goal for every 4 shots taken. They also took advantage of their power play opportunities and dominated the face-off. So now it's time for the good and the bad from the series. Mike, I'll let you start with the championship game. What did you see out of the Lions?
Penn State really showed that they belonged early in that game in the first period. They showed they could hang with the Eagles and did a good job coming out strong and aggressive and putting Boston College on their heels for most of the first period. And if Casey Bailey's shot attempt didn't sail just wide in the middle of that period, Penn State could have been up 2-0 on the number 7 team, and who knows how things would have turned out from there.
That wasn't the case as the Eagles had the 2-1 lead after 1, but the bad I'm taking from the Penn State game was the face-offs. After winning the 14 more face-offs than Robert Morris, Penn State lost the face-off battle 44-29. They were really dominated. This was able to give the Eagles a lot more scoring chances, which they took advantage of and really controlled the tempo after the first period.
Penn State comes out of the tournament with a 1-1 record, but it was a positive for seeing what they could do against a top team, and they will be facing many more top teams as the season goes along.
Yeah, it was a good building experience for them. You know, Coach Guy Gadowski said that it was, they could move on it, they could build on it because they were able to skate well against a good team in Boston College, and that's a topic in this week's Sounding Off, presented by Ace Hardware of State College.
You continue to get better, and that's what we're trying to do. Now, we certainly didn't have great results against Boston College, so I think we had feedback that says we're definitely going the right direction. When we play this way, we can have success. And then we faced a great team in Boston College, and a great reminder, great information that, boy, it's not only just to do it, you have to do it extremely well.
And one of the top players from that weekend series is our player of the week, Nate Jensen. The defenseman scored a goal in Game 1, and his hard play even earned him a spot on the all-tournament team. Jensen never afraid to mix it up on defense as well, and ever deserving as the player of the week.
When the Blue Line returns, it's time to focus on number 1. As the number 1 ranked team, the Minnesota Golden Gophers make a trip to Hockey Valley. All that and more when we come back right here on the Blue Line.
I think we're hungry to get back, though. I thought we were starting to really make some good strides, so we're looking forward to having a number of tests consistently.
Welcome back to the Blue Line. You heard the coach talking right there. Penn State looking forward to the tough test coming up on their schedule, and things don't get much tougher than the top team in the country.
Yeah, you got the Gophers coming into Pegula, hottest team right now in the country. But you know what? They did just lose in a shootout to Colgate at home, but they bounced back and beat Rensselaer 6-2 in the consolation game.
And earlier in the season, they did lose in a shootout to Michigan State. Still no conference losses in the Big Ten. Penn State will be looking to give them their first conference loss of the season by pulling the upset. But talk about the schedule for Penn State so far. Playing the number 1 team at home, it's just been top team after top team on their schedule.
Yeah, if you're a season ticket holder, you got to love it. You got marquee teams coming into Pegula. It seems like almost every week. You got to love that. I mean, I just can't get over that. I'm a season ticket holder myself. And you know what? Let's go into the J. Magai Mitsubishi matchup board.
Obviously, with the record stands out for the number 1 team, Minnesota, with 34 more goals than the Lions, but the Gophers haven't been great on the power play, only scoring 16% of the time. Great penalty kill numbers as they get the advantage on Penn State there in face-offs after Penn State's numbers in both categories dropped after the last series.
Here's some more info on the Gophers. They have been ranked number 1 in 9 weeks of this season so far with a solid 4-1-1 record on the road. They get their scoring from all over as 9 players have 10 or more points. Compare that to just 1 player from Penn State, and they have a true number 1 goalie. Adam Wilcox has started all but 1 of their games, and here's what Penn State had to say.
Now we get another opportunity against, obviously, the best case scenario to see if we can play a good game against the top team in the country.
They have a lot of skill, just like Boston College. They're very fast, and they like to make plays. But the downside is they do like to take some risks to make those plays. So if we just play tight defensively and try to capitalize on their mistakes.
Penn State will have their hands full with the Gophers. If you look past the #1 ranking, Minnesota already has amassed a couple of big marquee wins over Notre Dame and Wisconsin. They also beat Boston College.
Yeah, but you know what? They tied BC in the first game of that series. The next night, though, they bounced back and beat the Eagles 6-1. That is some serious firepower, and Penn State knows that they have to fix some things to be able to compete with the Gophers this weekend.
Yeah, BC could only score 4 goals combined in 2 games against Minnesota. What could they do against Penn State? Penn State really needs to work to shut down Minnesota's firepower. We mentioned they have 9 players with 10 or more points. 8 of those players have 5 or more goals. Penn State struggled stopping Boston College's offense as they exploded for 8 goals in just over 2 periods. The Lions need to work on their defensive containment to limit scoring chances, and that way they can stay in the game with a potential chance for an upset.
Well, Mike, the defensive focus has to be on shutting down the leading scorer for the Gophers, Kyle Rao, assisting here on this goal. He notches 100th point against Colgate. He's second in points behind fellow junior Sam Warning. Seth Ambrose is the leading scorer, but Minnesota has been getting scoring from all over. Get this, not one team has a negative plus-minus, not one player on the team. The Lions will have to learn from the BC game, and the coach knows they need to show it on the ice.
We sort of had a little bit of trouble when they picked it up mentally, being mentally tough holding to our game, and it's nice to have that experience. Obviously, to do that against the very top teams in the nation is different than doing it against some of the lesser teams. So it's a great experience coming in to face the Gophers. We'll see. I mean, it's one thing to talk about the lesson. It's another thing to see it on the ice.
Being able to stop an offensive juggernaut often means that you need your goalie to stand on his head that night. So in this week's player profile, we caught up with Matt Scoff to talk about what it was like going home to play in front of his family and facing the Gophers this weekend.
We're here with sophomore goalkeeper Matt Scoff. And Matt, you've been a part of every one of Penn State's wins so far. What has led to your success?
Just having good practice habits in practice, obviously. Going back to practice, just listen to what coaches said. It's not just me. I mean, obviously the guys have something to do with all the 4 wins, and I just think going forward here we need to obviously step up our game a little bit. We've been on a bit of a skid, but with the 4 wins, to answer your question, just having good practice habits in practice.
And you're a Pittsburgh native. For the Three Rivers Classics, you're back in Pittsburgh. What was it like being kind of in front of your hometown and being in that atmosphere?
I mean, it was awesome. A bunch of family got to come out and see me play again, so that's part of the reason why I chose Penn State. To be so close to home where they can see me play whenever they wanted. So it was good to experience that again.
And Minnesota's coming up #1 in the nation. It's going to be a bit of a challenge, but what's it going to take for you guys to compete with them and win?
I just sticking to Penn State hockey and what got us here as individuals. I think we all were recruited for a reason, and we need to stick to our roles and play our game. And obviously listen to what Coach has us doing it with our systems and stuff like that. So they're a good team, and we're expecting 2 tough games.
Thanks, Matt. Back to you guys.
Elise, great job as always. When we come back right here on the Blue Line, we're going to take a look at some superlatives from the Three Rivers Classic and catch up with the women's team. All that and more right here on the Blue Line.
It was a great opportunity for us. I mean, we're very grateful to Consol Arena, to Robert Morris University for putting us in this field with Boston College, and for our young program, I mean, a great opportunity for us to play a team like Boston College.
Welcome back to the Blue Line. That was Coach Godowski from after the Three Rivers Classic, really praising the opportunity to play in Pittsburgh. I mean, Pegula is a gorgeous arena, but Consol is on a completely different level out there. And that big stage provided quality opponents for the Lions, but it also provided a chance for their fan base out west to get a chance to see the team.
Yeah, you know, Consol Energy is a great arena. It was great to see the fans pack it for the Lions. That is a great way to grow the Penn State brand, and that's what you have to do when you have a program in its infancy. No guest this week, but Elise Murkowski was out in the Steel City to see how the Nittany Lion fans embraced the Three Rivers Classic.
Happy Valley may be turning into Hockey Valley, but over the winter break, supporters of the Penn State men's ice hockey team traveled to Consol Energy Center to watch the team take part in the Three Rivers Classic. This arena may be home to the Pittsburgh Penguins, but during the Three Rivers Classic, the focus was on some of the top college teams as they took part in the holiday tournament hosted by Robert Morris. Penn State faithful packed the house to cheer on the Nittany Lions.
Probably one of the greatest feelings as alums who worked for the team before they were D1. It was really great for us to be at home in Pittsburgh watching our team on the Penguins ice. It was a great experience.
All these teams play. Robert Morris is hosting the tournament.
Friday night had fans on their feet as Penn State clinched a win against the tournament host with a late third period goal, advancing in the championship match against number 5 Boston College. The team fell short in the final game, but the Nittany Lion supporters love to see their team take the ice at an NHL rink.
Playing Greensburg and coming here, we're playing against Boston College. It doesn't really get any better than that.
It's really cool, and it's nice that we can get to see them from, close to home.
Penn State may have been on break, but students like Alex Moninger got to show their Penn State pride in Pittsburgh.
It's amazing. I love seeing some of the guys that I go to class with and I work with, and seeing them on the Penguin ice.
Those in attendance who had special ties to the program expressed their happiness for what Penn State hockey has achieved in the past 2 years.
It really is a family in Penn State hockey, and it's like watching your brothers and sisters succeed in life is absolutely amazing, and it just makes your heart really cool to see these guys out there doing what they do.
The notoriety and being an NCAA team right now is really, it's just a dream come true. I know Joe Batista worked really hard to do that, and to have that come true and come to fruition and be playing at the Tressa Arena where the Penguins play and NHL teams, it's just really, it's happening. It's really happening. It's exciting.
Penn State may not have gotten the result they wanted against Boston College in the championship, but head coach Guy Godowski stressed that the experience has true value to the team.
Our alumni, they're just awesome. It's so much fun to play in front of them, whether it's in State College or here in Pittsburgh or elsewhere. They've been fantastic. So to give us the opportunity to play in front of great alumni is always very welcome and great support. And then also in a great venue. It's a tremendous experience on itself. We hope to someday to play in venues like this in March and April.
Like Godowski said, playing in an arena like this in front of a large fan base will only help the team grow.
While the women are having a tough go of it, it's important to note they are out there battling every single night on the ice, whether it's at practice or in the game. The problem for the ladies, they just can't seem to get the puck in the back of the net. So in this week's player profile, we caught up with Hannah Honeshell, who coincidentally is the first Nittany Lion to score a hat trick.
We're here with sophomore forward Hannah Hohenschau. And Hannah, while your team's record may not show it, what success do you feel you guys have gained so far this season?
I think each day we come to the rink and get better. Each day during practice, our record might not show it yet, but I think by the time playoffs comes around, we'll be proving our successes.
It's been a month and a half since you played here at Pegula. What's it like to get back on and be at home ice again?
I think everyone's really excited. Obviously, this is like the most awesome rink to play in. So it's really nice being on home ice, and hopefully we can get a win.
And you're a Texas native. People don't really think of ice hockey in Texas because of the warm weather. How did you get into hockey, and how did you choose Penn State?
My brother originally started playing hockey, and I wanted to follow in his footsteps. So my dad bought me hockey skates, and I started skating, and then I played in Texas throughout high school. And I really liked the big school, the good academics, and obviously Texas has big-time football, which Penn State had, so it kind of had all the components that I was looking for in a school.
Thanks very much, Hannah.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Thanks, Elise. When the blue line comes back, we'll take a look around the Big Ten and also a look at the Zambonis at Pegula. Don't go anywhere. The blue line will be right back.
The league that we happen to be in, you're facing the top teams in the nation every night. So in that sense, it makes it a little more difficult.
Welcome back to the blue line. Before we jump into the Big Ten, like Coach Godowski said, let's take a look back at some great plays from the Three Rivers Classic.
And Andrew, I'll take the Aaron's amazing save of the week against Boston College. It was still a 2-1 game when Johnny Hockey was on the break. Good help from Mike Williamson, but Matt Scoff, huge stop of Gaudreau. Look at it again as we slow it down, stoning him with the pad save there. Played solid in front of the home fans, did Scoff, and stopping and helping to stop a dominant Eagles offense.
And now it's time for the Cove Crunch of the week. BC trying to clear the puck, but Ricky DeRosa, takes out Captain Patrick Brown, and he's even going to circle around and finish off this shift right here. Take another look right here in slow-mo as this stick goes flying. Flying, I tell you, about 15 feet. Right there. That is our Cove Crunch of the week.
All right, well, now it's time for Big Ten time. And right now we're getting into the heart of the season as every team in the conference will be in action against another Big Ten team this weekend for the first time. First, we take a look at what happened last weekend.
Two Big Ten teams in action. Minnesota, after a month off, returned to the ice in the Mariucci Classic at home. Lost game one in a shootout to Colgate, but then pounded RPI in the consolation.
Penn State's next opponent, Minnesota, still on top, obviously, as the #1 team in the country. Michigan State, Ohio State, and Penn State they're still searching for win number 1 maybe this week.
Because all those teams playing each other this week, check it out. Minnesota and Penn State, big series, Michigan at Wisconsin. That could change up the standings.
And now time for the Pegula Spotlight. Anyone who's been at a hockey game has seen them on the ice between periods. The Zambonis, everyone thinks they're cool and should be fun to drive, but what really goes into the Zambonis? We caught up behind the scenes at Pegula for this week's Spotlight.
Like I said, it's pretty much just driving a big car once you get used to it.
But it's more than that for Zamboni drivers. Pegula has 2 Zambonis to make sure the ice stays smooth. We caught up with driver Tom Stromel as he was filling the Zams to get some details.
Pretty much we just get it out. The conditioner there will drop. We turn the water on. We have cold water and hot water. The cold water will run the whole time. And every turn we go around the boards, or every time we turn the hot water off so it doesn't pool up in the ends. And then you turn it back on as you go down the middle of the ice. There's a blade on the conditioner, as well as we call it the horizontal auger and the vertical auger. The blade, depending on how you can lower and raise it. So the lower it gets, you take more ruts out, but you also pick more snow up. So the more snow you pick up, the more water you have to lay down. The augers just spin to make sure it doesn't clog up, keeps the snow going right into the dump tank, and that's where we pour it out.
It's not just any water. Pegula uses a special jet ice formula, just like the big leagues.
I know most pro rinks use it. Clean as it can get. It comes out nice and hot, lays a very nice sheet of ice compared to the old rink.
So how much better is this new surface for the drivers?
10 times better than what we had over there. The ice is harder. It freezes like twice as fast. So coming over here was kind of a nice treat for a Zamboni driver.
And just one note on the Health South injury update board from Coach's Tuesday press conference. It was junior forward Jacob Friedman. He's unlikely to play against number 1 Minnesota with a head injury. So Minnesota coming into Pegula, big opponent. Should be some great games for fans to see. What's the key for Penn State if they're going to want to pull off an upset against Minnesota?
My key is the fans. You got to turn Pegula into the home ice advantage that Terry Pegula wanted when he donated the money to bring the program to the Division I level. You got to be loud and you got to intimidate that opposing goaltender.
We'll see what the fans have when they come into Pegula Arena this weekend. And just a reminder to fans as well, hockey starts on Friday this weekend at Pegula as the women's team plays Colgate Friday night, then Saturday afternoon. All of that before Penn State takes on number 1 Minnesota Sunday night and then again on Monday. For Andrew Kalista, Mike Tressa, that does it for this week's Blue Line. We'll see you all next week.